This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else can it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I, of course, am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 13 in the National Football League. Huge one in the NFL as the Green Bay Packers host the New England Patriots. It's the NFL's best on display. A lot of people calling this a preview of the Super Bowl that will take place in Arizona next year. I can't lie, I am in the majority on this one. I feel like these are the two best teams in football right now. And so wouldn't surprise me one bit if in February in Arizona, these two teams lock horns once again. And it's funny, I had a great conversation. I love talking to the fans. I love talking to viewers of this channel. And, you know, it's always the reasonable and rational fans that I have the best conversations with. And I love talking to fans of other teams because they give you a perspective of another franchise that you just can't have, being that you're not a fan of the team. And I don't talk to many Patriots fans because a lot of them are arrogant. A lot of them feel like you're beneath them. And I don't blame them. I mean, they run one of the best organizations in all of football. But my man Ofo is one of my favorite guys to talk to while I'm doing this. And he's a huge Patriots fan. And Ofo, really, I call him Ofo, is someone that loves the Patriots, feels like this newfound physicality is going to help them get back to the Super Bowl. And after that Colts win, he said, hey man, I don't think we really need to have home field advantage. I think people are blowing this whole home field advantage thing out of proportion. I said, man, look, I'll be real with you. Home field advantage matters. And, you know, in basketball and baseball, it may be irrelevant, but in football, home field advantage matters. And Ofo made a great point. He said, hey, what about the Steelers that ran the table as a 6th seed? What about the Giants that ran the table as a 6th seed? What about the Packers that ran the table as a 6th seed? I said, hey, look, those are all great examples of teams that got hot like a hot butter knife through butter and sliced up the rest of their conferences and got all the way to the Super Bowl and won it. But that's not something that you want to rely on. I said, how many times have the teams that have been 1 or 2 seeds made it to the Super Bowl? How many times have Brady and Manning faced off in the postseason, whether Manning was in Indy or he's in Denver now? How many times have they faced off in the postseason? Go look at their matchups against one another. Tell me how many times the road team has won in those matchups. And what you'll find is that it doesn't happen. So you need to be at home. It matters. It matters to be at home. And you look at the best teams in this league right now. You got Denver, you got New England, you got Green Bay. And you can even throw Arizona in there if you like. What do all those teams have in common? Have not lost a home game all season. All of them have lost 3 games. All 3 of those losses for each of those teams on the road. It matters to be at home in this league. So this was a big game. For the Packers, you need to keep up that aura of invincibility at Lambeau. You don't want anybody coming in here and cracking that shell that you have around your stadium right now, which you've been scoring up over 50 points the last 2 contests at home. You've been dominant at home. You don't want anybody feeling like they can come into Lambeau and get a win. And now that we're getting into December and close to January where it's going to be cold, nobody wants any part of Lambeau Field. And so you need to win this game if you're the Green Bay Packers. So I talked about all of that to say this. You need to win games like this if you're New England because you want home field advantage in the AFC postseason. Okay? And so you got Denver who you hold the tiebreaker over. But if you lose this game against Green Bay, it drops you to 9-3. If Denver were to win, and they did win against Kansas City on Sunday Night Football, they would be at 9-3. Now you're in a position where you can't afford to lose because you can't assume that Denver is going to lose another game. You lose a game and finish up the season at 12-4, but they finished 13-3. Now you got to go to Mile High for the, because I think when it's all said and done, the AFC is going to boil down to the Patriots and the Broncos. Whoever's at home, that's the team that's going to the Super Bowl, if you ask me. So let's jump into this one and talk about two of the best teams in all of football. 8-play opening Packers drive leads to a field goal. Then the Packers add another field goal as Rodgers scrambles and has his hand stepped on. And I thought maybe this could have some far-reaching consequences in this game. Luckily enough for the Packers, it was his non-throwing hand, unlike Ben Roethlisberger in the Steelers game, which it was his throwing hand. Thought he struggled for a little while after that, but he got on track, did Roethlisberger. But Rodgers didn't have any such problems. It was his non-throwing hand. I thought it was going to actually be something that they needed to tape up. He just left it alone. You could visibly see that it was red, but the coldness, I thought that would have an impact on it. It didn't. He was fine. It's 6-0. Packers on top. Devontae Adams, big gainer, sets up a Richard Rodgers touchdown. Aaron Rodgers rolls out to his left, spots Rodgers, makes a great throw, gets it to him. It's 13-0. Right now, if you're the New England Patriots, you're in a danger zone. Right here is where you don't want to be. You're in a danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. Down 13-0 to a Packers team that's been ringing up points like crazy at home against the opposition. This looks like a lot of those other games, that Philadelphia game that got out of control, that was at Lambeau, that Bears game that got out of control, that was at Lambeau. This is starting to shape up and look like that. If you're the Patriots, you need to do something, not now, like right now. And so we go to the second quarter, 13-0, Packers on top. Brady and company respond with a touchdown, which is what you would expect from a football team like this. Gronk with a huge pickup helps lead to a Brandon Bolden rush touchdown. It's now 13-7. And right now, even though the game has been dominated by the Green Bay Packers, the difference in the game is Packers had to settle for 2 field goals. Patriots go down the field. The first opportunity they get to strike, they do. They get in the end zone. So instead of this score being something like 17-7 or 20-7 or even 21-7, it's 13-7 because of the 2 field goals that the Packers had to settle for. Meanwhile, Patriots get in the end zone. So A-Rod finds Randall Cobb on a big gainer out of the backfield. And then that sets up a Mason Crosby field goal, his 3rd of the day, to make it 16-7. I thought Mike McCarthy came into this game with a wonderful game plan. And he knows he's going up against one of the mad scientists of the league in Bill Belichick, a guy that is going to take away what you like to do best. And so you had to know he was going to match Revis up with one of the 2 receivers, whether it be Cobb or Nelson. It ended up being Jordy Nelson. It's going to try to match up Browner with the other one. And so he was going to try to take away the outside and make somebody else beat him. And so what Mike McCarthy did was he used Randall Cobb in a number of situations. He put him in the backfield with Boykin as another option in a pistol formation, which makes you have to use him as, treat him as a running back. So now he's matched up with a linebacker, and on that big play that set up the Richard Rodgers touchdown, they get him out of the backfield, and that was a great play because he's in the backfield. He runs a wheel route on Ninkovich. They actually run some pick action across the field, a couple of slants to delay because Ninkovich was in coverage. There was also a corner over top of Ninkovich to help him out. But because of the slants going across the field, that defender got picked off, couldn't get over the top in time. Rodgers made him pay. So I thought it was just some great scheming by one of the best offensive head coaches in the league, and Mike McCarthy. And I thought he just did a magnificent job of not only doing that with Randall Cobb to get him free, but also knowing that they're going to try to take away Cobb and Jordy Nelson. Got to have another option. Got to have an alternate receiver step up. That guy on this day was Devontae Adams. He was huge because you can't put Revis and Browner everywhere. Somebody else is going to have to try to make a play. You're going to have Kyle Arrington one-on-one. Got to take advantage of those matchups. They did. And so it's now 16-7. Again, having to settle for a field goal. But nonetheless, 16-7, Packers up. Patriots continue to battle back as they methodically drive it down the field. You get a nice catch and run by Shane Vereen. You get a grown man catch and run by Gronk. I thought he was going to score. Breaks 2 tackles, drags another guy down to about the 4-yard line, where Brandon LaFell finishes off the drive with the touchdown catch. It's now 16-14. So Patriots hanging around. For as good as the Packers have played in this first half, You only got a 2-point lead to show for it right now. If you're the Patriots, if you can just hang on and not give anything else up in this first half, even if you give up a field goal, you've got to feel good about where you are. To be down less than a touchdown after the Packers have dominated the way that they have, you got to feel good. Right now, you're only down 2, but this is what the great teams do. Packers score a touchdown right before the half, only needing 55 seconds to do so, including a 42-yard Air Jordan touchdown. And this was beautiful execution. And again, A-Rod is great at making you pay when you give him opportunities. Darrelle Revis was covering Jordy Nelson all day like a blanket for the most part. And this was the first time Jordy Nelson got free. And the minute he got free, A-Rod hits him with a frozen rope in stride. He's able to run away. It was a simple slant right in front of Darrelle Revis. I'm thinking Revis thought he had help to the inside because Jordy Nelson got way too easily inside of Revis on that particular play. So I'm thinking he thought he had help inside. Whatever the case may be, he catches the slant, absolutely runs away from every single defender, including Revis on this play as he catches the slant, gets across the field, dives into the end zone. It's 23-14. I thought this was the biggest play in the game. Outside of what happened at the very end of the game to seal it up, to get this touchdown right before the half, to extend the lead back out to 9, I thought this was critical because I thought the Patriots had wrestled all of the momentum away from the Packers with that touchdown right before the half. And to go back and reassume the momentum and extend this lead out to 2 scores, thought it was huge. Because for as well as you've played, to look up at the scoreboard and only be up 2 or 5, that would have been very, very disheartening if you're the Packers. To look up and see that you're up by 9, you feel really good about that. So you go to the third quarter. Mason Crosby misses a 40-yard field goal. I talk about missed field goals all the time. They change field position. They change momentum. And biggest of all, you don't get the points. And so you flip the field position with that miss. Thought the Packers could have easily taken a 12 or 15-point lead depending on that make. Instead, you miss that field goal because if you make that, who knows what happens? I mean, anything could have happened after that. The momentum, the crowd could have gotten involved. Turnover could happen. You never know. But you don't make the field goal, you never find out. So it's still a 9-point lead. As we head to the fourth quarter, Pats get the ground game going as LeGarrette Blount starts to run like a man possessed. And I thought the Patriots should have employed a little bit more of the run game sooner. I thought that they kind of went away from the run earlier, and maybe it wasn't working the way they wanted it to, but I didn't think they should have went. And this was a cold day. They should have stuck with the run, I thought, but it was working on this possession. They even gave Jonas Gray a carry. He got in there, so they were having success on the ground. They cap off this successful drive with a touchdown as Biefeld gets in the second time of the game. Great throw by Brady. Way to get open by Biefeld and bring in the catch. And so all of a sudden now, 23-21, that missed field goal looming large at this point now, as it's only a 2-point lead for the Green Bay Packers. Packers do respond, however, with a huge drive because you don't want to give the ball right back to Brady. They're hot. They're feeling good about themselves. If you give it right back to them, they're probably going down the field and getting some points. So to respond with the drive, eat up some clock, allow your defense to rest on the sideline, and put more points on the scoreboard, that's huge. And whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, it's going to force the Patriots to have to score a touchdown. But a touchdown puts this game, for all intents and purposes, out of reach at 9 points. With a touchdown, you go up 30-21, 2-score game. You're getting late in the game. Don't think the Patriots are going to be able to come back and win. However, if you have to kick a field goal, and that's something that the Packers have struggled with this entire game, not getting in the end zone and having to settle for field goals. You don't get in here, you settle for a field goal, the lead goes to 5, Brady can beat you with a touchdown. So you're kind of treading on some very thin ice here. If you are the Packers, you need to get in the end zone. Have an opportunity to do so. And these are one of those rookie mistakes. You got to go through these growing pains with the rookies. For all the good that the rookies can do, they also can make some mistakes. Here's a huge one. I talked about Davante Adams having a huge day, and up until this play, that's exactly what he was doing. But on this particular play, Rodgers is under duress. He throws a laser to Davante Adams on 3rd down on a slant. He's going to catch this and walk into the end zone. that's going to seal the deal for the Packers. Instead, Davante Adams takes his eyes off the football. It goes right through his hands. You can't ball without the ball. And so, Packers got to settle for a field goal. It's now 26-21, and that's a huge play in the game right now, because if Brady is able to take his troops down the field and get in the end zone, that's the play we're going to come back and look at and say, hey, that was a turning point in this game. But Pats drive, and they get into striking distance. They roll the dice a couple of times. You know, Belichick has always been a stickler for putting the chips and pushing them all to the middle of the table. 4th and 3, they go for it. They're able to convert. 3rd and 7, another big pickup by this Patriots football team. 3rd and 9, however, different story, as the Packers are able to get pressured. Mike Neal and Daniels get their hands on Brady, get him down on the ground, forces a longer field goal attempt for Stephen Gostkowski, who misses from 47 yards out. And again, I talk about missed field goals having a huge impact. Well, now you don't get the points, flip the field position, and all the momentum is back in the corner of the Packers. Keep in mind, that 4th and 3 conversion, all for naught. That 3rd and 7 conversion, all for naught. All the time you just expended on that drive, we're getting late into the 4th quarter now, all for naught. And now you got to start using your timeouts because of you need a touchdown now and you need the football back. So all the Packers need now is 1 first down, and this game is over. And on 3rd and 4, Randall Cobb with a huge catch. Wasn't the best throw in the world by Rodgers, but it was an excellent grab by Cobb to seal the deal. As the best formation in football takes place, that victory formation, as the Packers hold on 26-21 over the Patriots. Both teams leave this game at 9-3 as the Packers ascend to 9-3, Patriots drop to 9-3. So huge win for the Packers. They stay atop the NFC North division, and now they're tied for 2nd place in the NFC Conference. And now with the Cardinals struggling, one more win will give them the #1 seed in the NFC. Nobody wants to come to Lambeau in January to try to get to the Super Bowl. So if the Packers can continue to play this hot football, they could be the team to beat in the NFC. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, tough loss, drops you to 9-3. With the Broncos winning, they're now 9-3. Keep in mind, I think next week is the game that could decide a lot for you, because you've got a bunch of games left in your division. If I'm not mistaken, you still got the Jets. That's on the road, but you're not afraid of the Jets. They're a bad football team. But you got Miami at Foxborough. You got Buffalo at Foxborough. Those are winnable games at home. This Chargers game, however, on Sunday Night Football in San Diego, I think is going to be a make-or-break game for you. If you can win that game, I can easily see you running the table and remaining the #1 seed in the AFC. If you lose that game, however, I don't see Denver losing again this season. And if you lose that game and Denver runs the table, they'll be the #1 seed. You do not want to go 2 Mile High. Again, I can't stress this enough. The home team in the Brady Manning series in the postseason has been triumphant. In the postseason, you do not want to go 2 Mile High. You want the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC to come through Foxborough. So you need to win next week on the road against the San Diego Chargers. So that's going to do it for Packers and Patriots. I thank you for joining me. If that happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me, as I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 13 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.